Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. This is Patrick on another week, another time for you to join us. I want to thank you for joining us on today. Those of you, if this is your first time, this is the 30 where we focus primarily on leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, and those that are doing some positive things in the community. As you know, this month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we've been featuring our guests with the focus on mental health. And today we will continue that focus. We have a very special guest on today. You don't want to miss it. You want to hear her story and you want to hear what she's doing. She's doing some tremendous things in the area of mental health and also in the area of entrepreneurship. So we are going to talk with Deanne very soon. So stick around and we'll be right back. Hi there, gang. Welcome to the 30. This is your host, Patrick. Tonight, we are going to continue our discussion on mental health as we focus this month specifically on mental health awareness. This is our third week as we bring in guests specifically about this very important topic. As I said last week and the week before, you probably know someone that suffers with mental health. Maybe you yourself have suffered with it, but we all have been touched in one way or another with this very important topic, mental health. So we have brought in a number of guests that speaks directly to it. And tonight, I have a very special guest coming all the way from Colorado. We connected, I think, 2 years ago via TVE. So I'm going to bring her in. If you have any questions or comments, do me a huge favor. Drop them in the comments box. We want to hear from you as we bring this very important topic to the forefront. Let's welcome Deana. Deana, thank you for joining us on the 30.
Thank you so much for having me, Patrick. I'm glad to be here.
I forgot. It's not Deana. It's Deana. My apologies.
That's okay. Happens all the time.
Yeah, she corrected me earlier. It is Deana. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do, where you're located.
Sure. Well, I am in a little town called Telluride, Colorado, and I've spent the last 20 or so years in Colorado in different places, but I spent the last 3 decades in hospitality and events. And then I lost everything to COVID in 2020. It was a drastic change for me, but it was also a blessing in disguise. So I'm excited to be here and discussing this topic, which now kind of rules my life these days.
And how does it rule your life, Deana?
Well, I have a nonprofit for suicide prevention. I've also had my own journey that I can share more about. And I just spend my life talking about awareness around mental health and what we can do about it, how we can support people in our life, how we can help ourselves get through something we're struggling with. And so it's something that is very top of mind for me every day now.
Great. And we'll talk about your personal journey, but one of the things that struck me, which is the topic of today's discussion, is thankful for the scars. Tell our viewers what that is. I know that's a tattoo, I think, on your arm, but
Yes.
Tell our viewers how that came about and why you have it.
Absolutely. In 2018, I lost a friend to suicide, and I had known this friend for over 20 years. And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, because I had survived an attempt a long time ago, and I'd never spoken about it. And so when my friend died, I really thought about, if he had known my journey or my story, would it have mattered? Would he have reached out to me? Could I have helped him? And that thought changed the trajectory of my future, because although it took me a little while to figure out what to do with that, 2019 was a rough year for me in many ways. And there's a Christian song called Scars, and it's by a band called I Am They. And then the chorus of the song talks about being thankful for the scars. And it talks about, us being thankful for our own scars, that we're learning from them. But it also talks about Jesus's scars and how he saved us. And that song got me through so many days. And so in 2020, in January, even before COVID, it was my 50th birthday. And I went and got this tattoo on my arm, because for me, it is the commitment I made to talk about mental health, to talk about suicide, and to use my story to help others. And it was a long journey to be able to talk about it without being emotional. But I think it was a blessing in disguise, like I said. And when COVID happened, it gave me the opportunity to change my focus.
Good. Now, you said that you started a nonprofit, sorry, in terms of mental health. So, what is it, and what do you do in that area?
Yes. So it's called the Realize Foundation. And what we do is our mission is to reduce suicide rates by way of human connection. So we talk a lot about conversations, community, and personal stories. And we use those things to reach people, to let them know they're not alone, to let them know that other people have been in a similar place, and there is a way out, and there is hope. And my own story, I was silent for 23 years about what I was dealing with, because I never felt comfortable talking about it. And so in my mind, we need all the resources we have, the hotline, the therapists, some people need medications. But my feeling is the bigger way to reduce the suicide rates is through conversations and community and personal story.
And that's what your company does, or your
Yes.
organization.
We do that through virtual events. We do that through books, and we do it through, building the communities we have, like in private Facebook groups and at our events, and our books that are out there in the world for people to relate to a story and get hope or inspiration that they can overcome something as well.
Wow. Uh, Again, if you have any questions or comments for Deana, please do so. Let's give a shout out to those in right now, Antigua Talks, Dorita, Sabrina, and the whole crew. Shout out. Thanks for being on. So you mentioned, Deana, books, and I was blessed enough to be on your book release, I think back in February.
Yes.
Tell us about that book. And I was touched by those that you had on. I purchased three of them so that I can give to friends and family. But tell our viewers about the journey of the book. What is the book, and the motivation behind you getting the book going?
Absolutely. So it started, we started a summit back in 21 called Scars to Stars. And we had 15 speakers that told a story of overcoming adversity. And then we did a 3-day event with the same name in 21. And then we did a second summit. And so after all of that, I was following a coach that had put out an anthology book, and she was talking about how to do that. And I was like, well, maybe we could turn all these stories into a book. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And then I reached out to a lot of the people that were involved in our summits and were willing to talk about their story. And they all, I had 19 people who jumped on board. And so there's 19 different stories in our book. And there are all kinds of struggles and adversity and how people overcame them. And the idea was that we could meet the readers in their own pain, where they could relate to someone that wrote their story in the book, and they could feel like, I'm not really alone. Someone else has been here, and this is how they got through it, and maybe I can do the same. And they can also join our private Facebook group and connect with the authors and other people in our community. And then the book launch event that you're talking about, it was about an hour and a half virtual event, and you got to kind of meet the authors and what their stories were about and what their experience was. And that video is free on our website, so anybody can watch that.
And what is that website, Deana?
It's realizefoundation.org.
Realizefoundation.org.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the motivation? Because I know this is writing a book, getting 19 people together was probably not easy for you. What was the motivation behind it? And what kind of cooperation did you get after you contacted those potential authors?
Absolutely. I think the motivation was just to continue our work with getting personal stories out and how they can change people's lives when they read a very vulnerable story about someone else who has been through something. People connect with that, and it gives them hope. And so I think that was the motivation, to kind of keep this momentum going from our virtual events. And how do we do that, and how do we get the word to more people? And so once I started reaching out to the people that came together for the book, it was like magical. Everybody wanted to be part of it. They were excited about it. They were very passionate about sharing their story to help other people. And we started having calls once a week as a group, and everybody just really bonded, and we built this amazing community. And we had some of that already. We just added to it. And then, even some of the authors in the first book, they're like, I know you're going to have a new group and everything, but please don't kick us out. We want to stay, and we want to all be together in this group and support each other, and kind of just be part of this community. And so that's kind of how it all happened.
Yeah, I was just fascinated and taken aback by the candor of the authors at the launch. I thought it was fantastic, and just hearing their stories of scars to stars. So kudos to you for thinking of that project and executing on it. Now, the rumor has it that you have another one that's coming out pretty soon. When is that one?
We do. I'm so excited. We have another one that will be coming out in September. And then we have a third one that will be coming out in November. And we're going to keep this train going. We are going to, we're actually designing a course around it, so that starting in 2023, anybody can apply to be part of a book and go through a training with us to, go through the whole process.
Now, Alfreda says, where can you purchase the book? Where can it be purchased?
Yes. Well, it is on Amazon and Kindle. And I've found it on Barnes & Noble's website, and I've found it on a lot of other websites, like local bookstores in different places. So if you go to Amazon and search for Scars to Stars, there are a couple books with that name. We have applied for a trademark, which should be done any time now. But our cover is kind of purple, and it has like 3 silhouettes at the bottom. So that's when you know that that's the right one, and it has my name on there as writing the foreword.
So I'm going to share that now with the viewers so that they can see it. This
Yeah.
is Deana's website, and here's the book, Scars to Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you go out and grab that book. I'm telling you, it is reading it. It is just amazing. You never know what people go through or have gone through and come out on the other end. Let me just share a story here. Cedric, shout out to Cedric. I can definitely relate. I'm so glad I got help. It saved my life. When I went to war and came back, I was scarred, PTSD issues, but after 25 years, I went to war. I finally had to get some help in 2015. Thank you for sharing that, Ced.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. And you're going to be super excited about our November issue because it is a special edition with one of our veteran organization partners. So it's going to be all veteran stories in November.
Wow. So let's talk about outside of the book.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you also have another business
Mm-hmm.
where you're an entrepreneur. Tell us about that part of your story.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of in the beginning stages, but what it is, my business is called Genius and Sanity, and what that is helping entrepreneurs understand um, that self-care is mandatory. It is not something to be put at the end of your schedule and skipped when you don't have time. And my belief is the more self-care you practice, the more successful you're going to be in your business. And I practiced this in 2019, and I know that it works because when you practice self-care in any way, that looks different for different people, but it clears your mind. And when your mind is clear, you're more in a creative state, which allows you to come up with solutions and ideas that will help you grow your business. Um, and so I think it's kind of a cycle that we all go through because when we do get that downtime, we get re-energized and recharged and creative about what to do moving forward. And I think that, when you think about like maybe you have a really big event coming up or you have time off coming up and you need to get a lot done, we seem to sit at our desk for one day and like just knock out a whole bunch of stuff. But when we're in the day-to-day grind, we don't necessarily, we're not that productive every day and every hour. So it's like we kind of have to give ourselves a break in order to, have that clear mind and creativity to get to the next level. And that's exactly what happened for me in 2019. I had finally started taking care of myself. I lost a lot of weight. I started working out. I was doing totally better. And it had been a bad year for me financially. We had not met our revenues from the prior year. And once I started taking care of myself and I started delegating more and I started putting more systems in place and spending my time a little differently in my business, we turned that around. So by the end of 2019, we were forecasting that 2020 was going to be double our best year ever. So it does work, and I think it's mandatory that we have to have me time. We have to spend time with our family. We have to spend time, quiet time or whatever it is for you that helps you clear your mind and be more creative. And like, what is the next step in my business that I'm missing because I'm so buried in paperwork or events or whatever it is that I'm not seeing it, and it's right in front of my face.
Deana, you're awesome. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. This is just great. If you have a question or comment for Deana, drop it in the comments box. I'm sure she would love to answer any questions that you may have, whether it's relating to mental health, or entrepreneurship or self-care, go ahead and do that. Or if you just want to give her a shout out, do that as well. What is next for you? You have Realize, you have the mental health advocacy. What's next with you outside of the books? The books are coming. What's next?
Well, we're definitely going to start doing some more events. And I think that's going to get more people involved in taking care of themselves. And we're gonna start launching some stuff around the entrepreneurship idea as well. And that is not something I can talk about yet, but I promise it will be coming this year. And I hope to be able to share more about that soon.
So you're trying to hold back on us, huh?
Well, it's just not created yet. So it's in the works.
Okay, all right. So you're obviously busy, right? You have a lot going on. Has that helped you with your own mental health and self-care? Because sometimes people say, well, I'm too busy to take care of myself. Or some may say, I have to be busy in order to keep sane, right?
Mm-hmm.
What has helped you along the way?
Well, I definitely think my brain needs to be busy. I definitely need downtime and self-care and everything I just talked about. But I think we also need to occupy our brain with positive things, or not just positive things, but like for me, like puzzles is something that I've always liked and enjoyed. Whether it's a physical puzzle you're putting together or it's just some sort of mind game puzzle, but keeping my brain engaged in some way has always helped me. And I think that when we're focused on something, whether it's our job or our family or a puzzle or whatever it is, when we're focused, it occupies our brain power where we can feel needed and feel worthy of whatever it is we're trying to do in life. And I think sometimes if we, when COVID first happened, I spent a few weeks where I didn't have to be anywhere. I didn't have anything on my calendar. I didn't have anything to do. And I literally did not know what to do with myself. And that is the worst kind of situation for me. So I think it's just about each person figuring out what is good for you, what is bad for you, what makes you feel bad, how can you avoid that, how can you find coping mechanisms that are healthy, and that will help you through a bad day. Like I know if I'm having a bad day and I'm really feeling down, it's like if I can just sit down and do a puzzle, or I can go to my desk and find one thing that I can accomplish that day, just even if it's simple, it gives me that renewed sense of purpose.
Great. As we wind things down, just say a couple of other questions before we get into what we call rapid fire, Deana. If someone is dealing with depression now or some area of mental health or mental illness, what would you tell them?
Well, I think the most important thing is that they're not alone and that they matter. Because I think when we're in a depressed state, we don't feel like we're worthy of something. We feel like maybe nobody understands. We feel like maybe nobody even cares. And that is just not true. It's our brain lying to us, And I think I saw the comment about positive vibes, and I agree with that. But I also want to caution that, sometimes if somebody's in a really down place, positivity can have the opposite effect. If if somebody's really depressed and you say to them, just be happy, you have so much to be happy about, that doesn't necessarily correlate to them the way you mean it. And for people who've never felt depression, they may think I'm crazy and they don't understand that, but I promise it's true. We just have to be supportive. And the best thing you can do for somebody is listen. Like really listen, let them talk, let them tell you what they need, and ask them, like, I can just be here and listen, but do you want to talk about something? Is there something I can do to help you right now? So it's the biggest thing for me is listening and offering support in whatever way that person needs it. Because we all have our own ideas about what we should need if we're depressed, but each person and even a person on different days might need different things. So just to be there, even if it's in silence, maybe just watch a movie together or a TV show, or maybe they do want to talk about something specific, and being in a place where they can do that safely and, privately is important.
Awesome, Deana. Dorita says here, Deana B. Mitchell is incredible. I agree. Thanks, Dorita.
I love you, Dorita.
And she has a question here. Let's see. How do you differentiate from making an encouraging response?
I'm not sure I 100% understand what her question, but I think you don't want to push people to talk, but you want them to know that you're there and you will listen, or you will just be there however they need you to support them. Because, somebody might not be ready to talk, or might not be able to put into words what they're feeling. And I dealt with that a lot in my life. And it's very hard when, like my mom said to me one time, she's like, when you were younger, I never understood why it was so hard for you to talk about things. But she also told me that I never cried when I was younger. And my joke back to her was, I didn't want to talk about it because I was trying not to cry. So, sometimes people are just in a place where they're not sure how to even explain to you how they're feeling, or what they need. But knowing that you're there and that you're willing to just listen or just be there for support is a really big deal for someone who's in a bad place.
Awesome. Deana, if someone wants to get a hold of you or see your website, where should they go?
I think the realizefoundation.org is a great place to go. And on our YouTube channel, which you can find the link on our website, we have a lot of videos on YouTube. If they want to get in touch with me personally, that's my website. Deana Brown Mitchell is my email. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and would love to hear from anybody that wants to chat.
Awesome. 3 questions for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Let's go with rapid fire. Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Favorite book?
Scars to Stars. I couldn't resist that one.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Favorite place to vacation?
Probably Jamaica at the time.
Okay. All right. I'll take that as Barbados. Sounds good to me. Favorite food?
Oh, it has to be pizza.
Oh boy. I know I'm going to get a message here saying yes from my dear wife. She's going to say, okay, thank you. Thank you, Dorita. She says, let me put this up here. Excellent, Patrick. Thank you. One last, your favorite TV show?
Oh, wow. I like to watch reruns of sitcoms, and I think probably the one I've watched, my favorite TV show is So You Think You Can Dance, and it just came back yesterday, so I'm super excited to.
Awesome. Well, good. Deana, thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I agree with Dorita. You are incredible and awesome, and I thank you for taking the time for joining us here on the 30. Let me know what we can do to help with the next 2 books. Feel free if you want to jump on here again on the 30 and get the word out you know how to reach me. All right?
Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate you having me.
Not a problem. Feel better. Say hi to your husband, and we will connect soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we've been talking to Deana Mitchell, and as we continue the conversation about mental health during the Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have one more episode that's coming up, which is next week. Continue to join us as we move towards our 100th episode. We will be, this is 97, so we'll be approaching 100 episodes. We've been doing this, the 30, since 2020. So we look forward for you to be joining us. If you have any comments that you would like to drop us a line, here is our email address, info@jackmangroup.llc.com. Feel free to drop me a line there and continue to watch the show. If you've missed any of our previous broadcasts, you can certainly catch it on YouTube under the Jackman Group LLC. So we want to thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you next week. If you're watching this in replay, thank you so much. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's it for now. May God bless you and your family. We will see you next week. Peace.